Hey, what's up, guys? This is Kevin from Team Beast of the Southeast coming at you with my Salamangreat deck profile that I took to first place this past weekend at my local tournament. We had a 20-player tournament, 5 rounds, went undefeated, and I thought I'd share my experience and my techs and choices with the deck and get any feedback from you guys. And as always, if you want to see any more Yu-Gi-Oh content or want to see certain deck profiles, please leave a comment down below and we'd be sure to check that out. But anyway, let's get straight into the profile. So starting off, I decided to run three Flame Buffalo. The reason I decided to run this over Lady Debug was given that spirals haven't or have fallen out of favor recently, Droll hasn't been as prevalent. And the fact that you with this deck, or at least for my build, I wanted to draw more into outs, traps, hand traps, whatnot. So Flame Buffalo definitely helps with that. Helps dump your Salamangreats into the graveyard like Jaguar or Foxy. And also helps chain block and everything. It's a really good card. And as well, I'm playing one Lady Debug. Funny enough, the only reason I am playing Debug was because I could not find a third Foxy. But from my games this past weekend, when I saw it, it was amazing. And I honestly might keep it in just for that guaranteed search. Because sometimes you don't draw into the stuff you need with Flame Buffalo. And having Lady Debug to guarantee that Gazelle is sometimes pretty vital. Overall, I think I might keep it. I might even bump it to 2, but so far it performed really well for me. Carrying on, obviously we got the one Gazelle, helps pretty much facilitate all your plays, dumps all your traps into the graveyard, all your Salamangreat extenders like Jaguar, Spinny, Foxy, Falco, whatever you need, obviously. As well as I am playing 2 Foxy, again, just because I couldn't find a third, otherwise I would play a third. Honestly, I think 2 worked out fine for me. There was never really a time where I wish or I needed a third. Given my matchups, I didn't really end up using the effect to pop anything. And usually, if I open Foxy, I tend to have Buffalo, so I prefer Buffalo over Foxy just for the guaranteed 2 draws, because usually, there's a lot of times you'll usually whiff with Foxy, so I'd rather just discard it anyway. Then as well, 2 Jaguar. I think 2 is fine. I'm running triple desires, so you need to run at least more than 1. There was never really a time I'd consider playing a third. 2, it was the right amount. As well as Spinny, obviously, since without Mirage Stalio, there's no reason to really run 3. 2 just worked out pretty fine for me. Then obviously the 1 Falco. No, nothing really to explain there. It's a good card in general. I am running 2 Foul. The reason I'm running Foul was originally I wanted another level 4 extender to turbo out Dweller more efficiently, because at least for my locals, we have a lot of Shaddoll players, and I just wanted easy access to Dweller. But at the same time, it's also kind of a double-edged sword since it gives you more summons and you're more prone to Nibiru. Funny enough, though, I only saw Foul in my hand like once or maybe twice throughout the whole tournament. I'm considering bumping it down to 1 and teching in the Prohibit Snake just to have another out to Winda, a searchable out to Winda. But I haven't had access to it, but I definitely want to try that out. But 2 Foul worked pretty well for me. Also helps chain blocking with Baylings and Gazelle. And then for hand traps, I decided to run 3 Ash. Obviously, you're playing Salad. You want to play 3 Ash just because the recursion. And in this format, being kind of diverse as it is, it's definitely very multifunctional. You usually hit pretty much anything in every deck. And then I am opting to play 3 DD Crow. The reasoning behind this is because I don't want to play Ogre because it doesn't really do anything. I was originally running Bell to counter Crow and Call by the Grave, but when facing Shaddolls, which I find to be usually the more annoying matchup just because of Winda, and if they're playing the Invoke Bill with Caliga, I wanted to run Crow to hit their Shaddol Fusion. Or, well, yeah, to prevent their recursion, so hit the Shaddol Fusion, the All Fusion, Invocation, whatnot. And then with the reasoning for why I didn't stick with Bell was in that matchup, they can easily rearrange their chains to where you can't directly respond with Bell. And the way I looked at it now is I would rather use these to prevent them from building a board and then me just be able to break it next turn than having a card that doesn't really help me get to that point, which is what Bell was doing. I was also maining Nibiru as well, but in the same kind of with the same argument with Shadalls, if they can easily summon Winda on or before their 5th summon, kind of making it a dead card, and it honestly wasn't performing the way I wanted it to. But I mean, that's personal preference at that point. Those are the only hand traps I decided to run. And then I'm teching the 1 Pankratops. Another funny story about this, the only reason I am running it was just I could not think of another card to run. But in my games, it actually came in very clutch, given that it's a free body, 26, easily runs over Winda, and then just to help like clear boards, it honestly, I would probably keep it in just because of the utility it provided me. And that's it for the monster count. Going on to spells, obviously the 1 circle and the 1 sanctuary, pretty self-explanatory about that. I am running triple will. Obviously Nibiru hurts this deck a lot, so you kind of need to run 2 if not 3 will. I personally love 3 will. Usually my opponent will not even bother to clear out the will, and you just next turn combo off from there, rebuild your board. Obviously 3 Cyanide Mining, pretty self-explanatory with that. Then Triple Desires. I, for the life of me, hate playing Triple Desires. I hate it because my luck, I am always drawing Desires off Desires and whatnot. But for this build, I am trying to make it a more consistent and more control variant. So I need to draw as many cards as I can. And the fact that Droll isn't as relevant anymore, or as relevant, you're not really afraid of getting trolled. You can play through an Ash, you can play through most hand traps, but now that you don't have to fear Droll, I think drawing cards is definitely very strong for this deck. And then I am maining 2 Mind Control. If you go first, obviously it doesn't do anything, but usually if you set up a pretty okay board, obviously like a Rage and like maybe a hand trap or 2, you're usually not gonna die that turn. And so next turn you have this to out whatever problematic monster your opponent might summon, and it's honestly very, very, very powerful. Would not change anything about it. And then for the traps, double rage, double roar, double rage. There's nothing, I guess, that needs to be said about this. You want to open it as much as possible since we lost Mirage Stalio. Yeah, and my final tech is I am maining 2 Dynamiscus. Reasoning for this was I was originally going to main Cosmic Cyclone for problematic cards like Mystic Mine or Floodgates or whatnot. But again, I couldn't find anybody that had any spares for trade. And my buddy actually recommended it like as kind of a joke, but not really, kind of like a joke. Was like, why not play Dynamiscus? And I thought about it, I was like, it actually does provide more utility, given that you don't, not only can it remove problematic spells and traps, but it also gets rid of problematic monsters that are like immune to destruction and such. And honestly, I loved it. Helps fuel your graveyard, and then whenever you activate one of your other traps, you can just bring it back, get an extra body, and then go off next turn or whatnot. And I loved it to death. I wouldn't change this at all. And that's it for the main deck, 40 card deck main deck. Now to this extra, obviously the standard salad lineup, 3 Baylings, 3 Wolf, 2 Heatleo, nothing really to talk about there. Then the 1 Hita. I'm always on and off with this card, but considering that Ash is still relevant for the format, it helps kind of extend and just like go off. The only reason I kind of am on and off with it is it conflicts with Transcode Talker. But when it goes off, it goes off, and I don't know. I'll keep it in for now. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know. The 1 Phoenix, obviously. And then I am running the transcode package, so update jammer transcode. The fact that this is not a once per turn with giving your monsters double attack is insane. And I mean, with that, I'm running the Zeroboros. So I was originally running Avermax, and because once you use Transcode's effect to special, you're locked into Cybers, or the turn you would use his effect, you have to have only summoned special summon Cybers that turn. Avermax, while he is a Cybers and arguably he has a stronger effect, Zeroboros is a lot more generic to make, only needing 2+ effect monsters. So generally, if you're left with the wolf, come your turn, special 2 salads, make Update Jammer. If you have a third salad, obviously go into Transcode. Transcode will get 2 attacks from Update Jammer, special back to Update Jammer, and then if you stab your wolf, link away the Update Jammer with wolf into Zeroboros, and he'll have 2 attacks as well. And since you're running Desires, if you've desired that turn, you get 200 attack for each banished card. So that's already a 5k beater that can attack twice. And as well, he does have utility in the form of if something is summoned to a zone he points to, he'll banish all cards. That didn't come up for me, but I actually, in one of my matches, I got this guy up to 8,000 attack with 2 attacks because I double Desires. And it's honestly insane how, like, these 2 cards pair well together. The one Borreload because it helps out problematic monsters that Salad have a hard time outing. This is one of the reasons why I kind of want to main the Prohibit Snake. I think that's what it's called, just to have another out. But Borreload was pretty good as well. And as well, if you make this with Update Jammer, just steal 2 monsters, it's insane. And then the One Dweller. This card I'm on and off about maining now because I didn't go into it at all this past weekend. I was expecting to go against Shadal's, but I didn't go up against them this past weekend. I ended up playing against what was it? It was first round was a stun player, and then Dino, 2 Infernoids, and then a stun player again. So Dollar didn't really do anything for me, and most of the time, Dynamiscus with a set Rage or Roar was honestly like enough, backed up with hand traps. So I might side it, but for now, keep it in the main deck because Shadal's are definitely annoying. And onto the side deck. So triple Dark Ruler no more. This is obviously for combo, Shadal's, whatnot. I didn't side it at all this past weekend just because none of my matchups really siding this in wouldn't have really benefited me in any way. Definitely going to keep testing it just because I haven't been able to fully use it yet, given my locals. But for a regional event, definitely would run it. For my locals, since I know we have a lot of people that play Shadal's or dark decks in general, I was siding 2 Super Poly with a Mud Dragon and a Starving Venom. Didn't side him in at all this weekend, just because the matchups didn't really fit the criteria. So this might stay, it might go. Probably for a regionals, I would definitely keep this in. Probably take out the Mud Dragon, and I would probably tech in Elysium just for the Shadal Invoked matchup to get rid of the Kaliga and the Winda all at once, and then just have that big body that could board wipe. Then for more going second cards, Triple Twister and 1 Reboot just because I hate back row with a passion. And yeah, nothing much else to say there. Then I was citing the 1 Imperial Order. Originally, I was maining it, but for my locals, I knew it wasn't really gonna benefit me in all my matchups, so I'd rather the Dynamiscus for more utility and removal. And yeah, but definitely a powerful card. It actually won me my game against one of my games against Infernoids because he opened what was it? It was Lair, Monster Gate, and Vanishment, and I just flipped this and he couldn't do anything. So definitely a good card. And one card I'm kind of testing but never really got a chance to use just because I never drew into it was citing 2 Prohibition for going first. So now this could definitely be changed. It might actually get changed in the end. But my whole reasoning behind this is the deck loses to Nibiru, or doesn't necessarily lose, but it definitely gets crippled a lot by it. So I figured if you're going first, just play this, call Nibiru, call whatever hand trap you think is going to stop you in that moment or in that turn, and you're pretty much safe to continue. Usually, obviously, unless they're running some weird card, they're not going to out this first or on your turn. Another reasoning behind it is if you're going first and you know, obviously after siding it in, you know what deck you're playing. So you can call any key card that might actually prevent your opponent from going off. And so they'll have to waste resources to out this first. And if they're trying to out this, that means they have the card in their hand. If not, they're planning to use it. So if you have a rage, no, roar set, just negate whatever is trying to destroy this, and then they're struggling. Again, I didn't get a chance to test this. The one time I did side it in, I didn't draw into it, but in theory it should work. But this can obviously be changed to something else. But yeah, guys, that was my Salamangreat deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you change about the deck, please let me know down below. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.